I am a gay man. It is 1961. I'm a hard-working American who is good at his job, pays taxes on time, and just wants to make ends meet. Earlier this year, President John F. Kennedy signed Executive Order 10925, which required government contractors to take affirmative action to ensure that applicants are employed and that employees are treated during employment without regard to race, creed, color, or national origin. Sadly, I was not protected. I live in fear every day that my employer will find out that I'm dating a man that I've known since high school and terminate me based solely on whom I love. No longer. This reality died in 1964 when the EEOC decided to interpret Title VII of the 1964 Civil Rights Act to cover LGBT employees and, in essence, bar employment discrimination based on sexual orientation. I am a woman. It is 1888 in America. I am a physician, and I just joined the National Women's Suffrage Association because despite my professional and academic success, I have absolutely no say in the way this country is being run based on my gender. No longer. This reality died in June of 1919 when Congress passed the 19th Amendment giving women in America the right to vote. I am a white man. It is 1958. I just married the love of my life and soon-to-be mother of my child in Washington, D.C. When we returned to our home in Virginia, we were dragged from our house into jail by policemen in the middle of the night. My wife spent several nights in jail before being convicted as a felon for the crime of marrying a person of a different color. No longer. This reality died in 1967 when a landmark civil rights decision of the United States Supreme Court invalidated laws prohibiting interracial marriage across the country. Reality is not what it seems. This shared hallucination, this waking dream, is a series of collective agreements imagined and then held as truths first by an individual, then by a small group of people, before becoming common law, religion, or a common belief. We have been telling stories since our caveman days, etching on stones, organizing ourselves as identities such as men and women, hunters and gatherers, humans and animals. Storytelling is innate to us, and the stories that we tell and live by, we pass down to our children like gospel, defining who they are at birth by giving them a loaded identity and expecting them to live by the rules, laws, and common beliefs that hold this world, this reality, together. These stories play tricks on our eyes, changing the way we perceive this world. They play tricks on our mind, altering our thinking. And they toy with our hearts, impacting our empathy and compassion for one another. Technology has always played a fundamental role in assisting us in our ability to storytell. And the more advanced our technologies get, the more impact it has in assisting us in manifesting this shared reality. The printing press, television and radio, the internet have all acted as platforms amplifying stories and helping movements and beliefs catch on like wildfire, either fueling and fortifying them or burning them down to the ground completely. All of these technologies have played a crucial role in killing the many realities before this time. Realities where a gay man could be fired or arrested because of whom he loves, where a woman could become a doctor or a minister but not have the right to vote, and where two people could fall in love but be prohibited to marry based on their skin color. We are witnessing the death of this reality, and just like past technologies, these current ones will play an instrumental role in its demise. The ubiquity of mobile and the dominance of its killer app, social media, has contributed to the death of privacy as we know it. Our constant need to overshare everything from what we are eating to how we are feeling has created a double-edged sword. In one hand, it has equipped entities with the ammo it needs to create filter bubbles and echo chambers to divide us as people, and also the personal data to manipulate our thinking and decision-making for things as large as an election. And on the other hand, this advanced storytelling platform has allowed us to assemble more quickly than ever before, giving us the tools to incite Me Too and Never Again in a magnitude and strength that we would not have been able to do without social networks. It's also allowed us to share our commonalities in this human experience, which has given birth to the necessary acceptance, tolerance, and empathy necessary to challenge stories core to who we are and how we identify with ourselves, such as sexual orientation and gender norms. The rise of cryptocurrency leveraging blockchain technology threatens our traditional fiat monetary system and could potentially topple the 1%, reshaping capitalism as we know it. The volatile value of Bitcoin is in itself partly derived by perceived value, a fantastic example of how powerful we are at creating realities if we decide to come together to do so. And the death of work is happening right before our very eyes with advancements in robotics, artificial intelligence, and automation. Self-driving trucks, retail stores that no longer require checkout staff, and manufacturing lines that leverage robots are just a few examples of technologies that are showing us the change of employment. This is causing us to re-examine our capitalist society, so much so that some countries are piloting new systematic changes, such as universal basic income. And as these technologies advance and continue to change what it means to work, we will be in need of new stories to help us redefine what it means to contribute to society and to win at life. And AR and VR is playing a very crucial role in shaping these next realities, changing a number of stories we believed in up until this time. Our current reality is a materialistic one. The American dream is measured on how successful we are at consumption. Fancy cars, bigger homes, designer clothing, and so on. What you own is tied to your identity, and this has given rise to a class system of the haves and have-nots, which has divided us as people, and it's also caused a tremendous amount of suffering. The creation, the distribution, the disposal of these goods are not only taxing on the environment, but our focus on materialism inhibits our ability to look past this physical world to deeper, more spiritual learnings. XR's ability to manifest objects as code may spell the end of materialism as we know it and help us to see past this physical world and also give rise to a new digital consumption. If we were to democratize this vaporware and not overly exaggerate the value and importance of these digital goods, it could lead to a fairly utopic scenario. But I suspect that we will be just as power-hungry in XR as we are in this real world, hoarding digital lands and buying up digital goods in order to keep up with the virtual Joneses. So we're already starting to see how AR can help us see past this physical world with persistent AR filters attached to real-world objects like startups like Solario are doing. Solario is making interactions between virtual and physical objects happen by turning this real world into a structured, context-aware 3D virtual space. And from a virtual real estate perspective, we only need to look to startups like Infiniverse or Arcona, which is connecting physical world space to a single persistent AR digital double, complete with augmented reality land registries, content distribution platforms, and marketplaces that are run on the blockchain. And in VR, we wipe the world away completely, and we build our own environments, which is what we're seeing with Oculus Home, or we can buy digital goods, like what we just saw in that very quick clip, which is high fidelity and its use of the HFC coin. Now, every day we get up, we put on clothes, we do our hair, and we present to the world who we are or who we want to be. We describe ourselves with gender pronouns. We are recognized by our hair color, our eye color, our skin color. Who we are is defined by this outer shell that we inhabit. And of course, all these traits are being used by others to judge us and sometimes discriminate against us. But soon it won't matter what body we are born in, because we will be able to change how people perceive us with a single download. XR will be the end of fixed identity and replace it with the ability to embody anyone or anything we desire. And this new fluid identity has the potential to broaden our minds and our hearts by living in multiple identities, which could have a dramatic impact on discrimination. And it also has the ability to grant us the chance to live multiple lives in one human lifespan. And in AR, this is already being achieved by augmenting our true selves with filters and lenses. So we're already starting to see the seeds of this with apps like Snapchat, which here I'm able to channel my inner kitty, of course, and with apps like Puppymoji, which allows me to fulfill my dream of one day becoming an anime character. While these experiences are currently fleeting, it's easy to see that once we have smart glasses and smart contact lenses, we will be able to force how people see us, or have people force a filter on us if this is allowed. And in VR, this notion of embodiment is taken to a whole new level, of course, because we leave our body behind and we actually take the form of new avatars of our choosing, which is something we're already doing in Facebook Spaces and Sansar, and frankly, this is just the beginning. Now, as much as XR has the ability to disrupt discrimination, it could also give rise to a new form of prejudice, one based on whether or not we can afford an avatar or our access to lenses at all. Now, we spend nearly 2 decades of our life in the educational system, and today, the majority of our education is made up of memorizing facts, figures, and processes. We're very book smart, but we don't get a chance to maximize our life experiences. And this is all provided you can actually afford the education system. AR's ability to democratize knowledge and information will disrupt our current understanding of education and turn it on its head. We have already witnessed having the world's information at our fingertips with mobile, but by moving it up to eye level with smart glasses, it will be a game changer. Soon there will be no need to learn information. We will have it at birth as long as we have a pair of glasses, and all this information is up in the cloud. And if we make these technologies accessible to everybody, this democratization of knowledge could have a dramatic impact on class and poverty. So we're already starting to see the seeds of this in the enterprise with smart glasses like Vuzix and Google Glass that are turning amateur workers into professionals using enterprise AR solutions like Scope AR. Scope AR's work link is getting workers the information they need when they need it for leading organizations like Boeing, Toyota, and Lockheed Martin. And ODG recently revealed a specially crafted oxygen mask that uses the same augmented reality technology in their smart glasses to assist FedEx Express pilots navigating dangerous conditions. And Dance Reality uses Apple's AR kit to help you practice your dance steps at home to get over your 2 left feet. While AR has the ability to level the playing field when it comes to knowledge, it is really in VR where we may be seeing the rise of a new form of education leveraging its simulation offerings, an education based on experience. And here we can look to immersive training platforms like Striver, which is already in use by Fortune 100 companies and sports teams. Striver allows you to experience a situation, and they indicate that this type of learning increases learning retention from 10% to 75%. And Tribe VR is helping people level up by giving them real-world skills. Their Tribe VR DJ school can give you muscle memory and experience of being a DJ so you can take this out into the real world. We are born, and then we live, and then we die. This is the human condition, and this is one of the core truths that has been fundamental to mankind since the dawn of time. While religious folks believe that there is life beyond reality, on this plane, when someone dies, they are not accessible to us. XR could be the death of death and give rise to a digital immortality. Soon we'll be able to chat with relatives that are long gone, hear stories from the mouths of heroes that are no longer here, and see live performances of celebrities that have died a long time ago. And we're already starting to see the seeds of this new reality emerge. Quantum Capture's Control Human Virtual Humans platform can bring to life a high-quality, full-body scan complete with body and facial expressions and an AI engine. Soul Machines has demonstrated its highly lifelike, emotionally responsive artificial humans with personality and character to allow you to speak face-to-face with a computer. And we have already seen Michael Jackson, Elvis, and Tupac come back to the stage as holograms with technology not unlike the one used by Ventana that scaled up tennis legend Roger Federer at the US Open recently to have his hologram sit for pictures to that audience of 8,000 instead of himself. Soon, it may be required for us to have a regular, updated, full-body scanned and have our consciousness uploaded to the cloud so that when we are out of lives on this reality level, we can return with a one-up as our digital double. As technology solution providers, investors, founders, XR thought leaders, it is critical that we understand our responsibility in shaping these new realities. There has never been a time more in need of a chief philosopher or a futurist at the seat of the decision-making table at a technology company. And I encourage you all to consider this type of role as an advisor or full-time team member in order to look beyond the code, the bugs, the user experience, to understand the gravity and the impact that your solution has on the world in order to mitigate any unwanted consequences. In addition, as we continue to teach our computers how to assist us in building and manifesting these new realities, it's important that we see all people and that we don't just service a segment of the population. Finally, I encourage us all to be more proactive in identifying the realities that we want and to solve for the problems and retell the stories attached to that in order to leave this world a better place for future generations. Reality is what we make it. Let's be conscious about the stories we tell and the platforms we build to support them in order to ensure that tomorrow is a better place for everyone. Thank you very much. I'd like to bring up my friends from Japan, Nobumichi, Asai, Watanabe, and Kazu. They are responsible for the projection mapping. A big round of applause for this team. Thank you.